Yeah, so I had this sponsor slot available, and I was thinking, what could I tell you that would be interesting? And as a geek that turned sort of businessman, I thought it would be interesting to give you some perspective on how you can use a consulting company to do open source, the different ways and the things I found successful. That's not all of the ways, but hopefully this is going to be interesting. So first, I think it's important to say that more and more companies are relying on open source, and it becomes core of their strategy to use open source. And so this is really something that's here to stay, and companies really benefit from it. But sometimes it's hard for them to interact with this world. They want to, and by talking to different companies, I also found out that they surprisingly want to give back. They don't always really know how to do it. And I think, so consulting companies can really help here. So we know the organic open source world and the businesses have big differences. One is a relationship. So in the organic open source world, we just talk to each other and we figure out who's doing what, and then we get things done. Companies, they want to talk to a vendor, and they want to sign an NDA and get a process in place, and then we can make things happen. And that's where having a consulting company is useful, because they can talk to the consulting company, and then the consulting company can talk to the ecosystem. And the way to make this happen is you hire people from the community that understands the space really well. Similarly with licensing, companies typically have core IP that is something that they cannot lose, they want to secure. Whereas in the open source world, everything is open source. The worst thing that could happen is some fight on MIT versus GPL. And so here, what I found out is that the best is to work with good lawyers. The lawyers, there are not many lawyers that really understand open source. We found IDS, who I can recommend. So if you have a company and you work with open source, I would say talk to them. And we've been working with them to create a special type of license so that when we do our work, we can contribute back to the ecosystem more easily. And this contract is available, so if you have your own consulting company, you can take our contract, and it's open source as well. And then the last part is how R&D happens. You know, in an open source ecosystem, people are scratching their own itches. There are many different motivations to do things, but the dynamics are very different, right? You're looking to create RFCs, there are different groups. That's how we have 6 different deployment tools in the Nix ecosystem. And with companies, they prefer to have like one preferred way to do things and kind of have this more clearly established. Again, I think having a company that's hired from the community can really help guide the companies on what's the best way to go forward. And you can become a good partner. So yeah, that's it. I think through this process, we were able to build a lot of open source things. We're contributing back to Nix and Nix packages. And I'm happy to keep doing this. I hope we can keep doing this in the future. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening.